In my composition here in After Effects, I've layered together my beauty, occlusion, and speck passes, and then I've pushed around the color of my green tile and terrazzo floor. Now I'm ready to get in depth of field, and that'll affect the whole image. I'll start out with an adjustment layer, clicking on top of my specular layer and choosing Layer, New, and Adjustment Layer. An adjustment layer affects all the layers below it, so I want to use an adjustment layer for things that are global on the image. I'll start out then by right-clicking on the adjustment layer, choosing Effect, and under Blur and Sharpen, Camera Lens Blur. This is a camera lens blur or depth of field, and it works really wonderfully on this image, except right now everything is blurred. Here's how I'll make this work with the depth I've rendered. We have the opportunity to put in a blur map, so I'll drop down the layer where it says None under the blur map and choose my blur image. It's going to base it on the luminance, the brightness in the image, and now I can push around a focal distance to get that blur in the right place. I'll push that out a little bit, and we can really start to see that blur change. Right now, it's blurring in the foreground and my bridge in the back is clear. I'll invert that blur map by using the checkbox and push that focal distance around. We can really start to see different parts of the image come in and out of focus. So I'll pull it way back so the stairs are in focus, and then take the blur radius down to 2. Now I've got my stairs at the foreground in focus, and a little bit of blur as we go up the stairs, telling the audience I want you to look at the stairs first. In this image, I want a comparatively deep or wide depth of field. I want most of the things to be in focus, so I want to make sure that that blur radius stays low. In other shots, you may want a shallow depth of field, where one point is in focus and everything else blurs out very rapidly. Because I want to show off the design, I'm going to leave it mostly in focus, so that the end of the stairs aren't completely fuzzed out. I'll also push up the highlights a little bit, pushing up the gain just to increase their brightness a little bit in the blur. If you need a bokeh node on this, a blur that goes into a shape, you can choose it here by Shape and affect the roundness and also the aspect ratio. This is really useful, for example, on little points of light, dappled light in trees and so on. But in this case, in this image, I don't have anything that's really a discrete point of light. It's generally softly evenly lit, so I don't have a place for a bokeh node here. My depth of field is on, and the great part is I can tune this as much as I'd like. It's as easy simply as pulling that focal distance around. And just by pushing this, I can really get that blur to sit where I want.